Hello and welcome to this News9 special. We are speaking about a situation that is developing in Kerala where there have been a boat accident and many of them have said that the wrong construction in the area is responsible for it. Well, that is what the local residents have been speaking about. But then there is a lot of incidents and politics that have happened on that incident. Now, the spate of boat accidents at the entrance of that breakwater triggered protests from residents at Modulapuri harbour. The protests further escalated during the visits of Minister V. Shivankuti, Anthony Raju and Gian Anil to that place. Now, the Latin Archdiocese Vicar General Father Eugene Periera, who was there during the time of the protest, has also been booked by the police for allegedly giving instruction to block the ministers from visiting the families. Now, there was a war of words between both Father Eugene Periera as that of the government officials as well as the ministers. And later what we come to know is that a case has been booked against Father Eugene Periera, and this has led to a series of protests from the representatives of the Latin Church. Now, this is not the first time that the Latin Church and the LDF government has been seeing eye to eye. This is the second time, especially after the Virinyam incident, where this protest has in fact seen. It is also being speculated that there would be protests this coming Sunday for the case being booked against Father Eugene. Let's in fact listen into what exactly happened at the Modulapuri and the boat tragedy that happened over there that led to the consequent series of events. Issue over here is also about what is happening at Modulapuri port. Several people have been coming and saying that the construction of the groin is what is leading to these series of accidents. There seems to be some kind of unscientific manner in which it is being constructed. There have been several deaths, especially at the opening part of that breakwater system, and this is something that's been going on. Of course, people are going to be agitated when they're not going to have any kind of a response, Sebastian Paul. And over here, you had the ministers being magnanimous enough to actually come and visit the family, speak to them. But why is it that they can't take that point of criticism? Why is it that when we talk about the construction of that groin, why is it that we are talking about, unable to understand what is so unscientific about it? There is no study that has been put forward whether it is constructed properly or not. So many accidents. This is the latest. There is a series of accidents and deaths have been reported from that particular portion of the ground. So it looks like from the outside when we look, it looks like the LDF is not able to take criticism at all. And the Latin Church has been a votary of the LDF also. It is a significant portion of them do vote for the LDF. But then why is it that even your own votary is being upset? So whose interest is being protected?
No, I agree with you to a certain extent. The Kerala sea coast is most vulnerable, especially during the monsoon season. And the worst sufferers are the fishermen who has to go to the sea for fishing. And everywhere the demand is there to protect the coast from the sea. And the work is going on in several parts of the state in right earnest. So when 4 of the fishermen were missing in the sea, it is only natural for the people. That means people means fisher folk who are more sensitive than other people. They will become agitated. And it is the duty of the ministers. Ministers means who represent those constituencies, Anthony Raju as well as Shivankuti. They were blocked by the mob, and that also is natural, because in such situations they will try to register their protest against the ministers in so many ways. But the people, that does not mean that the government is against all sorts of protest. The government is bound to suppress protest by using police force. That type of interpretation is most unfortunate. In the given situation, the police had to intervene in the matter, and naturally they will register a case. And as I said earlier, it is not fair on the part of the government or the police, the prosecution, to continue with the case. And it will be better if the government withdraw that case at the earliest.
But the fact remains is that this any kind of a question that is asked, there are a lot of cases that are being put out. There are cases against opposition leaders, there are cases against religious leaders. Anyone who questions, there are only cases, and that is the worrying part of it. Why is it that there is a point of fact that there is no way that there can be democratic dissent? Rahul Ishwar, what is it that is worrying the CPM?
See, maybe CPM has their own positions and ideologies. We respect that, even though I strongly differ with them. But any party being in the government, they are government first and not the party. There should be a tone of reconciliation. We have a lot of diversity. There are various communities, their own sensitivities. I personally saw that in Shabarimala. I was jailed for almost 2 to 3 weeks, and I was arrested 5 times for Shabarimala protests. So we all know the whole idea of using police to muscle dissent or muscle diversity of viewpoints is not right. And that हिंदी में कहते हैं कि वो उनको शोभा नहीं देते, that won't give any kind of positive to the government. So that's the reason why government should be more statesmanly. They should have a tone of reconciliation. They should be able to accept, they should be able to stomach all the people's protest. And I humbly differ with the whole usage of the word mob itself. You can call them community, you can call them crowd, you can call them the group, but calling such a community who has been instrumental and being celebrated in the past few years as saviors of Kerala, that same community being branded as angry mob is very unfortunate. That's the reason why government should have the large-heartedness. Government should be able to stomach in. It is very natural to people to do a sociological catharsis, if I can use that word. People are natural when they see people in power, when they people who they believe can make a change. There is a natural outpouring of their emotion. There is a catharsis happening. So ministers should be able to take that in a really good manner. Beyond politics, I remember A.K. Andy sir once. I think he was going to Marad or something where people were abusing him, but he was patiently listening to entire thing, saying that let them vent out their anger on me. That is the kind of attitude that we should have. It is not that there is any personal anger against them, but as you rightly said, there has been criticism for a long while regarding the unscientific construction. People have lost their life, people have been damaged. So if somebody from our family is having such a tragedy, naturally there will be a reaction from our side. So if someone in authority listens to it, it is a kind of internalization. They take it out so that they feel the authorities have understood. That kind of a posturing, that kind of an attitude has been missing. And I dare say there has been a tinge of arrogance growing in left government for a particular period of time. Maybe they feel Congress is not strong enough, BJP is not even in the picture. They may even get a third time. That might be the arrogance that they're having. But this kind of attitude is not good for democracy. Any party, whether they be right, left, or center, is not right. I hope they withdraw the case against Father Eugene Periera. They take into confidence the fisherman community. They talk to them. They find solutions. They hear out the pain. They let them vent out their pain and sadness. If not to authorities and government, we all believe in the idea of the parent state. If not to the parent state of government, who else they can show their emotions to? So that kind of attitude should be there, and nobody is personally blaming the ministers. Ministers, as we all know, they cannot be personally blamed, but the system is to be blamed, and system doesn't have a face, system doesn't have a body. So those who have a body and face are the ministers. It's natural that they will redirect their emotions at the ministers, and ministers should be magnanimous enough to stomach it.
Well, you're saying magnanimous is enough, but the incident over there has resulted in. But Sebastian Paul, do you think this will result in a lot of long-term damage when it comes to the coastal community? Already you have Vizhinjam, where the coastal community has been against the government over it, and we've seen the kind of protests that have happened. But now with this, it is only reinforcing their belief that LDF is not with them. So do you think that the LDF is going to face a complete erosion when it comes to the support from the coastal communities? Or am I reading it too early?
It is correct to a certain extent. There is erosion. Erosion is a term which we use in the context of the sea erosion. Likewise, there is an erosion in the good relations or faith of the people in this LDF. Alienation, especially in the Trivandrum area, the southern part of Kerala, which the LDF may not be able to afford at the time of election. So some urgent measures have to be taken to repair the situation, to regain the confidence of the people. To regain the confidence of the people means the best way is to address their grievance, to ensure their safety, the safety of the coast and safety of the fishermen who are going to sea for their livelihood. And with that, as a gesture of goodwill, these cases can be withdrawn. And I fully agree with Mr. Rahul Ishwar when he says that the government, especially the ministers, should be more magnanimous in dealing with the situation. But we know that this is the nature and position of governments everywhere. What is happening in Delhi? The latest instance is the case against Annie Raja. That also is a case against the protester. So that will happen everywhere. But a communist-led government in Kerala should be more, they should act in a more exemplary manner, setting a good example for other parties and governments, how the government should function in a democratic system.
Well, in fact, we have Father Eugene Periera who joins us on the phone line right now. Father, what exactly happened when Ministers Shivankuti and others were there? When you confronted them, what exactly was this thing? Can you explain from your side of the story? We want to just understand what exactly happened at that time.
See, whenever disasters and tragedies happen, not only in the sea coast and the sea, but also in the public where there is problems, we normally attend the issues. And having learned on 10th morning that 4 fishermen venturing into fishing early in the morning at 4 o'clock, their boats were capsized and 4 fishermen were missing. One of the fishermen, due to his very skillful swimming ability, he was swimming to the shore. Meanwhile, a boat from the sea was coming to the shore and they picked him up. But on the way to the hospital, that man died. And having learned this tragic event, normally the church attends to the people, whichever be the community we attend to. And Archbishop and myself was going to the spot, to the place where the incident has occurred, so that we meet the people who are in grievance, who are in pain and agony. That was the intention behind our going. And also we wanted to dialogue with the officials of the government, how best we make the rescue operation so that the bodies missing could be recovered. But as Archbishop and myself were getting out of the car, I saw a crowd there. I was just moving to the crowd. As I was moving to the crowd, the education minister was rushing from the crowd outside. His face was found very furious. And as soon as he met me, saw me, he was shouting that don't don't make show. And I was completely stunned and silent. Then the ministers left the place. And I was discussing with the women and the fishermen there. They told that about 20-30 minutes ahead of our arrival, they have come and were discussing with the people. And they were actually abusing the women. They were abusing the fishermen. Actually, the fishermen who were in agony and pain, definitely they might have been emotional. But in 2-3 minutes, they can be brought to calmness. But without listening to their grievances and their pain and agony, these people were shouting at them and also saying that don't make show of the situation. So they have actually made a bad show of themselves and they were rushing back. And as soon as they were rushing back, they saw me and they made the same shouting at me saying that don't make show of. And they went away. And they are telling that I have made some noise that there was police in the vicinity. The police were there and the media people were there. If any such incident happens, definitely the media would move to that. Also the police would move to that. But there was no such thing. When we moved to the spot where the accident has happened, we went there. We saw the nets of the fishermen on the breakwater, and the sea was a bit rough. and there was no proper rescue operation activities planned yet. I saw a helicopter flying in the air. Then we wanted to go and visit the people, the families who are in grievance, who are in pain. Archbishop and myself visited all the 4 houses, and we returned naturally to back to our house. Actually, once the ministers lost their temper and they lost the intervention with the people, they came and planned that let the media be called, and also afterwards, about 6 o'clock or so, I think, the police made a charge against me. In fact, I did nothing. So I'm not very tensed about that thing. But the point is this. We have been repeatedly asking the government, and in 2018, I think the then Fisheries Minister, Mercy Puttiamma, told us that she is going to call an international tender to rectify the unscientific construction. But what happened was that after 4 months, all of a sudden the Fisheries Minister and the local MLA called us to the Secretariat for a discussion. And the discussion was to pave way for the barge movement of the Adani port. Adani wanted to carry the rocks through this port, and they have almost removed the stones of almost 150 meters from there. That is also part of the cause for this sort of incidences. And the sediment movement in the place, they made an agreement with Adani that the sediment in the port will be removed by Adani through dredging. But nothing has happened. Last year itself, 12 fishermen died in 2 incidences. This year there was no much rough sea, but in this season, 10 accidents happened. Last week, 4 fishermen who were capsized by the rough sea, because of their fate of life, they moved to the inside the sea, and some boats from another village came and rescued them. And another boat capsized, that is still on the breakwater, it is lying there. So it has become a very recurring incident, and during our struggle in Viഴിഞ്ഞം, one of the promises was that they would solve the Pune Central Power and Water Research Center to study the matter and consult with the local fishermen and understand the issues, and they will rectify all what is possible.